All right, so there I was in a parking lot after midnight on a Saturday night, middle of nowhere in Utah. And there's a group of men led by a very large skinhead walking toward me solo in my car. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not a good situation to be in. All right, so how did I end up in this situation? Well, I was on my way back from Wyoming, from Pinedale, Wyoming, where me and some buddies did a yearly trip to the Wind River Mountain Range to fly fish and hang out and just enjoy some cool weather during the summer. This was sometime in the mid to late 90s, and I was driving by myself. I would usually fly up and meet my buddies. Sometimes they would, I would drive up and my buddies would all fly up. Sometimes I'd pick them up at the airport in Salt Lake and we'd all go together. Occasionally, one of them would ride with me, but on this particular trip, I was by myself. So drove all the way from Austin, Texas to Pinedale, Wyoming. It's a long way. And I was driving back by myself. So, like I said, this was in the mid 90s and I'm navigating cross country with a paper map, no internet, no Google Maps, none of that stuff. And I was noticing as it was getting later and later on a Saturday night in the middle of nowhere, like I can't see any city lights, there's hardly any traffic on this highway. I decided to take this back route just to check out some different spots. And I'm looking at the map and I'm looking at the gas gauge and I'm like, I may run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. But I did see a small little town and it was sort of out of my way, but it was my only hope to get gas, period. So I drive in to this little town. We will not name the little town. I don't want to embarrass anybody who may be from there. And there's a convenience store that's open. Most of the town is shut down already, but there's a convenience store that's open. I pull in and like I said, I see in the corner of the parking lot a group of men, young men, led by a giant guy, skinhead, covered in tattoos. And they're obviously, doing whatever they're doing. As I pull in, I'm driving my bright blue 1966 Volvo sedan, not a car you see every day. And as I pull in, the whole place goes silent and everybody's staring at me. So, right off the bat, I'm like, oh, wow, this is probably gonna be an uncomfortable situation for a few minutes. So I pull in and I pull up to the gas pump. Everybody's looking at me. I get out and this is back when you had to go in the store and pay for your gas. And so I get out of the truck, get out of the car, and I start walking in. Oh, and a little bit, an extra little detail that probably was not working in my favor was, I had short dreads and they were just all sticking out like I had just been electrocuted. I was wearing a skin tight red, white, and blue cycling jersey. And I had a pair of fuzzy Patagonia, maybe fuzzy black tights on with my giant waffle stomper hiking boots. So quite the picture. Definitely not something that these guys had probably ever seen, period, because there ain't no internet. So probably did not see a dude looking like me driving the car I was driving ever before. So like I said, total silence. They're all staring at me and I'm like, I gotta get gas. So walk into the convenience store. I've got my money in my hand. I think I had a $20 bill. Gas was pretty cheap back then. I'm standing there with my $20 bill I noticed there's a couple of guys who were kind of, I couldn't tell if they were in line or they were just hanging out, but they're like staring at me. The cashier's staring at me, and I'm standing there with my $20 bill, like, hey, can I get some gas? And the guy's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you need gas, So I give him my money. He rings it up. Pump is on, I get back out there and I start putting gas in my car, and all of a sudden a cop pulls in, and he drives right up to the group of guys, and he says, "What's going on tonight?" And one of the guys goes, "Same thing as last night." And I'm thinking to myself, did they kill somebody in this parking lot last night? Because I'm thinking, no, this is really not good. I don't know who I'm more afraid of, the small town cop or the skinhead and his buddies. But anyway, I get my gas and I'm kind of stalling because I'm thinking, man, I really don't want to roll out of here. Just felt kind of nervous. So, I get my gas and, I pop the hood and I'm checking the oil and I'm just kind of repacking some of my stuff in the trunk. I got all my climbing gear, fishing gear, camping gear. And the two guys who were in the store come out and they get in their car, which is at the gas pump right next to my car. The guy that's driving is just like staring at me still, like he has never seen anything like me ever before. I mean, he's just like, what the hell? And he gets in his car and proceeds to just floor it, goes flying out of the parking lot, across the highway, and smashes into the curb and drives into the field on the other side of the road from the gas station. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? And the cop turns on his lights. Boom, he's across the street, this guy does this right in front of the cop. So like something's going on with this guy. So the cop goes over there and I'm like, all right, it's my break, I'm out. So I slam the hood down, I get in the car, and like I said at the beginning of the video, all of a sudden, this group of men is walking straight toward my car, led by the giant skinhead dude, and they like stop in front of the car. And I'm like, oh crap. I'm like going, oh my God, do I need to run somebody over? Like, how am I gonna extract myself from this situation? And the window's down because this car doesn't have any AC, so the windows are always down unless it's raining. The giant skinhead guy, covered in tattoos, comes up and like puts his hands on the door, like inside the door of the car, like maybe he's gonna reach in and open the door and yank me out or pull me out, through the window. I'm just like, whoa, man. And he goes, hey man, do you know somebody that lives in this town? And I'm like, nah, man, I'm just passing through. And he backs up a little bit and he goes, man, see that cop over there? That cop told us he was gonna pull you over as soon as you pulled out of here. And that's never any fun. And I go, no. He goes, yeah, man, next time you see this town on the map, just go around this place. This place is a shithole. And he taps the hood of the car and he goes, good luck, brother. And I'm like, oh my God. And I put the car in gear and fire it up and roll out of there. And I have never driven through that town ever again. But the moral of the story is you just can't judge a book by its cover, because the dude I was most afraid of was the dude who was most concerned with, me getting out of there safely. So, Mr. Giant Skinhead tattoo covered dude in the middle of nowhere, Utah, thanks, brother. I made it home safe.